I'm a dope boy with the dope. I'm a dope boy with the dope. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Lou Reviews, the destination for critical thinking in the realm of the unexplained. Please don't forget to smack that like, share, subscribe button, and ring the bell. That way you're notified anytime we go live. And this week, you guys had an extra show. So if you rang the bell, you were here live for it. Well, at least you got a notification for it anyway. Well, let's see here. What else? If you really support the show, you've done all those things. You want to go the extra step. We have YouTube memberships. We've got a link tree in the description below that goes right to our Patreon, including our Discord. So check out the link tree link below if you guys haven't joined either one of those. And yeah, today we're going to be delving into the semi low stakes showdown between lawmakers Paulina Luna and Tim Burchett and the Department of Energy spokesperson Jennifer Granholm. There was some interesting things, I guess, said, but we're gonna get into it. We're gonna go look at both sides of it, and yeah, and then also I'm going to be providing you guys an update about the allegations that I've been referring to, fraud allegations in particular. I'm going to get into some of the details on it. I'm still waiting on some things, but I just wanted to give you guys an update and sort of share what I'm looking into and the charities specifically that I'm looking into. And once I get word, it is the Memorial Day weekend. I was hoping to get some answers on it by this week, but a lot of people left the office early this week for obvious reasons. Summer is starting, kids are getting out of school, so a lot of people are leaving their offices early. So again, hopefully I'll have something by mid next week to sort of confirm who this person is. We know who it is. But right now we're kind of just, let me see. There we go. We're just waiting on confirmation from these charities to 100% definitively say, okay, yeah, this was fraud. But I wanted to give you an update on what some of these charities have told me, and also the person who told me about what was going on or gave me the heads up to it. So wanted to talk about both of those things. Let me see here. I'm just doing one thing here. You guys give me 1 second. There we go. Cool. Excellent. All right. Want to say hello to everyone who is out there. Simon Fly, James Craig, Wise Monkey, UFO Shane, Sparky Pilot, Robert Vargas. I see you guys. Fraser Johnstone. Oh, thanks, man. Very kind of you. William Runner. Let's see here. Oh, there's somebody. Sparky Pilot. Complizier. Pat Calabria. What is up? Andres. Thank you for being here. We had to cancel our Twitter space yesterday because somebody overslept. Won't name any names. But yeah, I couldn't get a hold of them, and I thought, yeah, I was like, let me just skip it just in case something went wrong or whatever. But we'll be back next Thursday with the same crew. It's gonna be a killer conversation. So wanted to address that real quick and say hello to everyone that's here in the chat. Steve Long, what's shaking? No, definitely not referring to Jeff Knox. Okay, let's get started with this, shall we? So let's switch to our good old Lou Reviews production room and get to my bookmarks, which we're at. Excellent. So I think this is the first thing I wanted to play. And I can get this from a different source. Because, yeah, I hate using those sources, but sometimes they do have good reminders of things that I want to talk about. Let me see here. Birch it. See if it's on this one. I don't think it is. Where the heck did it go? I know definitely where it is because they bookmarked it, the oversight committee. I'm pretty sure they do anyway. Let's go media. Thought it was in here. All right, we'll go ahead and use this one, I suppose. We'll cut it off at the top there. Okay, so this is Tim Burchett coming out of the Department of Energy meeting. Make sure that the audio is turned up. Out of the meeting with the Department of Energy, and he had a few inquiries, but I want to listen to his point of view talking into camera, and then we're going to get to the Ask a Poll audio version of it. And he paints this picture about this meeting, and I just want to establish this first. I know we're kind of going backwards on this, but it's interesting how he sort of responds to what she said to him in this congressional inquiry.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett, just leaving oversight. Several questions, Secretary Granholm. And
all right, I know this is super low, so I'm going to pump up the audio some more, guys. Just give me a second. See if that helps.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett, just
better.
leaving oversight. Several questions, Secretary Granholm, and she was clueless. I asked her about some recent
She was clueless, and he's laughing to himself.
UAP sightings and UFO situations and that had been documented, and she kind of smirked and said something a little smart, I thought, and then I asked her about our use of energy over at our military bases using Russian energy, and we just got finished having a meeting with an admiral who said they do it, and she just laughed and said, oh, I don't know anything about that. And then I asked her about the small nuclear reactors, which are a huge deal, and then she told me maybe the biggest whopper. She said, you know, the government's not standing in the way of rolling those out, and of course, who regulates them but the federal government? She's very arrogant. She condescending to the point, I think, but she was clueless, which is even worse.
So clueless, condescending, all sorts of stuff. Got a super chat here from Wise Monkey. It says, Wise Monkey is so handsome and hot, it melts me. I mean, it's your money. Let me give you a clear one, because I have a feeling what's happening here. Wise Monkey is so handsome and so hot, it melts me. So I hope you get whatever you see need out of that. Please be kind. Okay. Let's listen to what the rest of what he's got to say.
She wouldn't even come before the committee until we threatened a subpoena.
That is kind of messed
up. The
up.
arrogance of these folks is just unbelievable. No wonder, what, 3%?
No wonder why this thing was so low.
of our vehicles are electric, and they're forcing it down our throats. And car lots have them, and they're having trouble getting rid of them. And it's just a nightmare. Anyway, thank y'all so much for sending me here. We'll keep fighting.
So that's Tim Burchett there. He lightly mentions the UFO thing here, but then he runs into Matt Laszlo outside, and then we get this Tim Burchett here.
Is that what you want? Is that what NPR wants to think? Is that what NPR thinks of the second
Break it up. Get to your corner.
Yeah, where's Marjorie? I need to find her. Did you catch my Department of Energy question today?
Oh, I missed it today.
So I set her up. I asked about UFO with the Department of Energy, and they said aliens don't exist or spaceships. And then I thought, boom, and then everybody just lit her up because they have a procedure in place, and there was and she said they've never had an incident of a nuclear facility, and there's literally documented incidents.
Huh?
I mean,
what do you make of her reaction?
I think she was condescending. She kind of smirked.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. I don't like that. People believe in UFOs, and there's over half the American population does. It's like 55 to 50 to 60% believe we're not alone. And
well, it is curious because people do think that the silos might not be in the Pentagon, but might be in DOE.
Yeah.
Do you think that's increasingly the case,
well,
or
DOE
still fishing?
Provides the security at Area 51, so
really,
Area 52, I believe, the one that's right beside it. They've got some kind of security force. So there's something going on.
That's fascinating.
Would you
go back and watch your cues there?
I know, me too.
See mine, and I look. Everybody's like, "Burchett, man, why didn't you?" And I say, "No, all I want to do is get her on record." And then,
so right here, this is
the 50 to 60% believe we're not alone. And
so he's got this one line here. She was cocky, condescending. And let's see here. Oh, I set her up. I asked her about UFOs within the Department of Energy, and then they said aliens don't exist or spaceships. And then after that, boom, then everyone just lit her up, which is not accurate. There's only 2 lawmakers that asked her about UAP / UFOs / aliens visiting Earth, and that was Luna and Burchett. No one else, not even Burleson, asked her about it. Their main focus, and I'll show you what mostly everyone's main focus here at this meeting was, and this is a clip.
I want to go back to a colleague with the gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Higgins, because
of Mr. Donalds, Rep. Brian Donalds, talking about gas prices, but primarily why the United States is selling reserves or giving reserves to Ukraine when those reserves are specifically supposed to be for wartime, national emergencies, things like that. And because they've sold these reserves, the gas prices have gone up. And I can tell you that is for sure. So it's a legitimate beef. It's a legitimate question. And the Department of Energy's reason for this is because they're doing a study. And that's why they had to, in part, get rid of these reserves. The other excuse is, oh, well, a war broke out in Ukraine. So therefore, not only the United States, but its allies, basically gave to parts of their oil reserves to Ukraine so they could fight against Russia. So that was mainly most lawmakers' beefs within these things. But this is just a little taste of what they were most everyone was talking about.
Line of questioning with you about the administration's pause on liquid natural gas. For decades, the Department of Energy's position on liquefied natural gas has been that it is safe, it is clean, and it is actually in the nation's interest for it to be procured and then also used in the United States and obviously transported and traded around the globe. In short, what has changed at the Department of Energy?
Yeah, the only thing that is
Oh, by the way, I'm a pretty little princess. Or I'm a pretty princess. Thanks, Stone Dave, for the donation. Either one, I think will work. Either one.
changed is that the volumes that have increased so much, we need to take another look. It's not that the ones that have been approved are not in the nation's interest. They were and they are, and they're going to continue to operate. It's the question of how much more new expansion and what will be the impact in the United States. So if we export our natural gas, what does that do for, if we export, we produce right now about 100 BCF of natural gas, a little bit more. If we export the amount that's authorized currently, which is 48 BCF, that's about half. What does that do to prices at home? That's a question.
Let me ask you this question. Do you believe that just in basic supply and demand, that more supply on the market actually decreases prices? And wouldn't a decreased price actually be to the benefit of the public interest?
For sure it would be.
So then what are we talking about, Secretary?
So this is what we have to look at. So one of the questions that we are looking at, we also have to take a look at what it does for global supply, our allies, all of that.
And again, this is a good conversation, but you know, congressional hearings, our time is limited.
Yes, sir.
Considering what is happening right now in Ukraine, isn't it in the public's interest here in the United States to increase exports of liquefied natural gas to cut down the ability of the Russian regime to actually earn money in the open market?
We are exporting natural gas. We are not stopping that.
Hold on, Secretary, hold on a minute. I'm gonna reclaim my time because I got 18 seconds now. We're not in a debate. This is a hearing, but you have put a pause. And you're saying it's in the public interest, but you can't really identify what the public interest is because it's in the public's interest for prices to go down. It is in the American public interest to try to limit the ability of the Russian regime to earn more money on the open market with their resources. Wouldn't you agree with that?
The pause does not affect that. Everything is still
going
forward.
The price does affect their ability to earn money to wage war, Madam Secretary.
Hello.
You know that just like I do.
It does not right now. This pause is for a brief period of time to update a study. It doesn't
How long is the
affect
pause?
any of that. It will be finished.
I would argue, Madam Secretary, that the pause that you are
is.
doing is against the law because you have not finalized your parameters and what you're looking at. And in the event of that being finalized, you do need to execute the permits that are waiting. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
A lot of this also has to do with the election coming up. You know, it's a lot of politics and at the expense of the American taxpayer, primarily. So that's basically the feel and the gist of the meeting. I wanted to also, there was another thing that Birch had actually made a really good point. And they had to threaten her with a subpoena to show up to this congressional hearing, which is fucking ridiculous. Like, the Department of Energy is one of the most we've spoken about the Department of Energy a lot on this show. And to me, that's where all the goodies are in there. They are one of the most powerful parts of our government, a branch, so to speak, that has almost no oversight, to a point where Congress has to threaten them with a subpoena to show up just to answer simple questions about energy transfers and how that affects global markets and us as taxpayers and consumers. Tim Burchett, outside of the UFO stuff, got some pretty decent questions in here. And one in particular about small module nuclear reactors, which I've been talking about for a while. And these are the same kind of nuclear reactors that sit in our aircraft carriers, submarines, and it's to ensure that they don't have to refuel for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years. Like these engines are clean, they're efficient, they're essentially free energy. And there's miniature versions of these nuclear reactors, and there's a push and a pull. The public obviously would probably want this, especially the business sector, and infrastructure. So I mean, really, these things would be vital in a lot of different places in the United States. And you know, right now the Department of Energy is saying, yeah, we're not holding it up. And the electric companies are like, well, we're not getting the permissions to implement these technologies into, you know, the water and power companies around the United States. So it's actually pretty interesting. So let me find good old Burchett doing it here. So here he is right here. This is the whole 5 minutes that he had with Jennifer, what's her face, Granholm. So let's take a listen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary, Tennessee is a massive hub for nuclear energy. Is the Biden administration supportive of new nuclear deployment, especially the small modular reactors?
We are.
And
we
can you
think-
tell me how y'all are helping with that deployment?
We thank very much Congress's funding in the 24 budget for small modular reactors, as well as the approval to be able to advance nuclear reactors, different desigins. We've got
Again,
about
these patents are sitting within the Department of Energy. This would be it is in the interest of national security to get our infrastructure running off of nuclear power. Fossil fuels are a finite source. Nuclear power is infinite, and it gets better with technology, especially the waste aspect of it. And compared to fossil fuels, it is not even close. These, if they're safe enough for our aircraft carriers, and if they're safe enough for submarines, they're safe enough to use within our infrastructure. But also, these things are developed, designed, and implemented within the Department of Energy. And they're also developing different types of engines for drone systems and drones that never have to land. The combination of nuclear and solar powered drones that could circumnavigate the world forever. Like, that's real shit that's sitting within this department. And again, it is a department that is almost void of oversight. It is impossible for lawmakers to crack the nut that is the Department of Energy. Almost as difficult as the Federal Reserve. Another part of government that has zero to little oversight. And it's a pain in the ass to get them to come talk to the American people through our representatives.
about $12 billion that we are funding nuclear writ large, including the uranium strategy and the HALEU strategy that will be the fuel for the small modular reactors.
Can you give me a timeline? They keep telling me 10 years before those are rolled out, and that was about 5 years
Well,
ago.
I sure hope not. I know the Nuclear Regulatory Commission has approved a design of one of the small modular reactors and others that are in the mix. That's the first step, of course. But we are eager to partner with utilities, the tech community, who are obviously going to be needing clean baseload power and could have small modular reactors attached to, for example, data centers. That kind of strategy, we're
Do you have a
eager.
timeline? Could you give me a date
Well,
when we're going to see? We're
it
going to turn
depends
the
on
switch on one of these.
Here's what we'd like to see is that the utilities step up to be able to do this, because it's the utilities
So
who
the
want to do
government
it.
is
It's not
blaming
certainly not the
utilities.
federal government. That's what
But yet they've only got one working or one concept, according to her. I'm sure there's different versions, different sizes, different applications, but one that she's talking about, they've only got one. So it's been at least 5 years. I mean, they told Burchett 5 years ago, in 10 years, these things will be all over the place. Here we are halfway through, and we're still lollygagging on this shit. To me, this is the answer. If you want clean, free energy, it is nuclear. I don't think it'll be free. They're going to find a way to monetize it, just like they found a way to monetize electric vehicles. They're going to monetize it. They're going to get their cut. But at least we won't be destroying the environment at the same time. And to be honest, no matter, even if the entire continental United States became 100% energy efficient, you still got China, who in the time that we've become 20% more efficient, they've become 300% less efficient and more pollutant. So it's a nation that's infinitely larger than ours. They create all of this pollution, yet don't have the same GDP that we do. It's tough to combat. We can't make China be energy efficient. It's good luck. Good luck. And it doesn't seem like they care what happens to the planet. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. It's a tough rock and a hard place, I guess.
That's holding it back.
Let me switch gears. What is the responsibility of the Federal Protective Services within the Nuclear Security Administration?
Are you talking about transporting fuels?
No, ma'am. I want you to speak. Well, I was going to follow up with the numerous reports by the Federal Protective Services officers describing suspicious occurrences of UAPs over nuclear facilities.
Oh. Let me just say, the Defense Department has said there is...
Now, he described her as condescending, clueless, and almost laughed at the question that he asked. And she was like, oh, okay, I think I know what you're asking here. And I think what she did is clarify the first part of this, so that way he understands exactly what she's referencing.
No evidence of UFOs, et cetera, or aliens in the United States. However, at those sites, there may be drones that may be...
Listen to that again.
The Defense Department has said there is no evidence of UFOs, et cetera, or aliens in the United States. However, at those sites, there may be drones that may be nefarious. And so we are definitely looking at that.
Right there. So, Congressman, because I'm familiar with who you are, I'm familiar with what you're trying to get to. So let me just go ahead and address it right off the bat. No, we're not concerned about UFOs or aliens because the Department of Defense says we shouldn't be afraid or concerned about UFOs and aliens. What we should be concerned about are drones. That's a very real threat. That's something that the Department of Energy is concerned about. It's clearly something the Department of Defense is worried about, and lawmakers are worried about. But for some reason, the guy who hasn't gone to the Aero office, hasn't spoken to anyone within the Department of Defense, either in a public setting or or classified setting, he hasn't even attempted that, Tim Burchett. But he's implying and talking about aliens here. And when she gives him this answer, he doesn't seem to be very happy with it. Oh, thanks, Frazier. Thanks for loving the show. Thank you for the donation. Appreciate it.
And making sure that our national security sites are protected. We have a whole program related to countering drones that may be coming from
Well,
areas.
this isn't about drones, and this is prior to drones even. What protocols do
So he hates that answer. He's like, no, it's not about drones. I'm talking about aliens. And I want you to talk about aliens. And this is way before drones. I bet if you asked Tim Burchett what Paul Benowitz was filming, he wouldn't think it was drones. I bet he wouldn't even know who Paul Benowitz is. We had a guy filming drones in 1989, 1990. 24 years ago. 34 years ago. Come on, man. And if you're talking about things from the 40s and 50s, good luck finding the paperwork. Good luck finding the corroborating evidence from files 80 years old. They don't exist. And if they do exist, they'll be found out of sheer luck. And even if they do exist, it's not evidence, man. It's not evidence. It's human testimony. And human testimony is wrong all the time.
does the Department of Energy have for reporting and responding to any UAP sightings near nuclear infrastructure? And people joke about this, but I get a lot of questions about this concerning this and about this hearing today from my constituents, so I would appreciate you answering that if there are any protocols.
Well, certainly there are protocols whenever we see
Are the people of Tennessee begging for this answer? I don't think so, but
anything unusual around our nuclear sites or our national security sites writ large.
Okay, we'll switch gears. The proper use of the reserve.
I think she gives him a pretty solid, very calm, straightforward answer. And his description of what happened is completely inaccurate. You know, this whole, okay, I set her up, I asked her about UFOs within the DOE, and they said aliens don't exist or spaceships. And after that, boom, then everyone just lit her up. You moved on. You moved on. You didn't light her up with questions. You moved on. And there's no more UFO questions after this. That was the last one.
Consider what is the proper use of the reserve, the strategic petroleum reserve in particular, considering its
They just go back into the petroleum reserve, right? So then that opens up Luna, Rep. Luna, to ask these questions.
Or our national security sites writ large.
Secretary Granholm, earlier when Representative Burchett asked you about some UAP stuff, you
and
said
by the way, I've got links for both Ask a Poll and the Black Vault, where I pulled these clips from, in the description below. So if you want to go support those guys, please do.
the DOD essentially had denied any existence of that, and you referred to them as drones, correct?
It's my understanding that the Department of Defense has looked at this
Okay.
and issued a report about it.
I have a lot of questions, so just quick and concise, if possible. There have been...
I mean, how much more quick and concise can she get than that? There's such a... You want to talk about condescending. Seems like Anna Paulina Luna is the one being condescending here. But let's continue.
Persistent claims and reports, including those from credible whistleblowers to this committee, suggesting that the U.S. government, potentially including the Department of Energy, has been involved in reverse engineering technologies recovered from UAP. For example, the Pentagon's proposed Kona Blue program aimed at reverse engineering such technologies, although it was ultimately not established. Can you clarify whether the Department of Energy has been involved in any such efforts, or, either historically or currently, to analyze reverse engineering materials from related to UAPs?
I have no knowledge of that.
Okay, there are several reports indicated frequent drone incursions over DOE nuclear facilities, including an incident on April 1st, 2021 at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, also known as LLNL. Can you detail the DOE's current security measures to prevent unauthorized drone activities or UAPs, and what steps are being taken to enhance these measures of frequencies of incidences?
Yeah, we have a whole counter drone effort to make sure that all of our national security sites and our labs are protected from incursions from drones, I'll just say, that are not authorized. So there's a whole series of protocols, probably not ripe for discussion in this public setting.
Correct.
So there you go. And now we just got confirmation that they do have a protocol in place, at least the Department of Energy does, around these sensitive nuclear facilities. And now they also have another process in place that's going to be reported and done through Arrow. So, you know, again, she's keeping it to drones because drones are a fucking problem. Drones are a very real, visceral issue.
So I reviewed some unclassified materials from around the 40s and 50s, and so they weren't...
I reviewed some unclassified materials from around the 40s and 50s. I wonder who gave her that. And is she looking at Roswell?
just being reported as drones back then, and I encourage you to look over those materials because I think that you guys should be upgrading that program to cover down on UAPs. There have been...
Okay, thanks, Miss Luna. Thank you. We'll take a look at the things from 1940s and 50s, unclassified stuff that you got from your UFO pals. Okay, sure, we'll take a look at it.
There have been documented sightings of metallic spheres over DOE facilities, if you want to call them drones in this instance, such as one report on April 30th, 2019 over
You know, wish my girlfriend was here because I'd ask her what kind of bag this is that she's got sitting right next to her. This leather bag, what brand it is. Man, it wouldn't shock me if this is one of those super expensive brands. Maybe it's a cheap, old normal handbag that you get at Target or something. But if I had to take a guess.
LLNL, what investigations have been conducted in regards to these sightings, and what conclusions do you guys have about the nature and origins of these objects?
I'm happy to follow up with you on that.
Okay, we'll be submitting also to
Again, I'll tell you in a classified setting. I'll tell you what I can follow up with.
for public record some questions after this, if you could please answer those. Considering the DOE's involvement in nuclear and sensitive research facilities, how does the DOE coordinate with agencies like the Department of Defense and AARO to investigate UAP sightings?
We obviously are teamed with the Department of Defense because of our national security and nuclear mission.
Are you able to cite any specific investigations or shared data analysis efforts?
I don't have information on that.
Okay. As of right now, again, we'll be submitting some questions for you after this, but I hope that you guys can answer those in a timely fashion. And again, for those that might be tuning into this, I would encourage you to look at some of those unclassified materials, and we'll be happy to provide your office with that. I'll just follow up by one other question, I guess, to close.
Now, this is the question that Jeremy Corbell told everyone to pay attention to. So let's perk up our ears, everyone. Let's see what Luna dropped here.
It out. Does the DOE currently work with JSOC in order to handle security measures?
Now, that sounds like a gotcha question, right? Does the DOE work with JSOC? Now, for those of you out there that don't know what JSOC is, stands for Joint Service Operations, which is a military organization responsible for coordinating and executing joint military operations. It's typically composed of representatives from multiple branches of the military, including the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine Corps. The JSOC is responsible for providing command and control, intelligence, logistics, and other support to military operations. It is a critical component of the military's ability to conduct complex and coordinated operations across multiple domains. Why wouldn't the Department of Energy be in contact or coordination with JSOC? What conspiracy thread are you pulling at when you ask that question? I mean, she's. Let's see how long it takes her to answer this.
In order to handle security measures.
We work with all of the security entities around the federal government.
We work with all of them. We work with all of them because we're the most top secret branch of our government anywhere. We make all the fucking toys for all of those people in the Joint Security Commission. Joint Service Operations Center, I meant. Come on, dude. It's such a stupid question. And the fact that it tells me if Jeremy Corbell is saying, make sure you pay attention to that while he's twirling his stupid little mustache, you should probably say to yourself, yeah, that's probably a Jeremy Corbell question. And he probably hit her up either by text or phone or email and was like, yo, you gotta ask him if they work with JSOC. I'm telling you, just wait for the response. Just wait. You're gonna get her so good on this one. You're gonna get her so good on this one, man. And it's not very good.
Provide your office with that. I'll just follow up by one other question, I guess, to close it out. Does the DOE currently work with JSOC in order to handle security measures?
We work with all of the security entities around the federal government. We're part of...
So nowhere in this presentation is Granholm condescending or mocking anyone or not answering questions. And I watched other parts of this conversation as well. Look, I cannot stand the Department of Energy. I think, especially when it comes to gas prices and other sort of things that they put on the American taxpayer and business owner, more specifically. Some of the things they've done are amazing. But they're also an umbrella branch to hide a lot of stuff. And so they're very secretive, tight-knit organization. And a lot of people don't think of it when it comes to national security. They really don't. They think, when you say Department of Energy, you think of that little sticker on your dryer or refrigerator. And that's just scratching the surface on the things that this department does. It is ridiculous that you have to threaten the department with a subpoena to come talk to representatives. That's ridiculous. But that's not something that's just reserved to the Department of Energy. A lot of departments within the United States government have done the exact same thing. Some actually wait for the subpoena. That's when shit gets interesting. So, are all the answers that they gave in this presentation good? No. But how did they handle the UFO sort of thing here? I thought she handled it very, very well. I thought beating both lawmakers to the punch, especially Burchett, took him off his game and forced him to ask something else. Nobody jumped on her. Nobody got her in a gotcha. It was a very average, normal congressional hearing. And the fact that the UFO community is using this, again, as some sort of victory lap is hilarious. But also it's just shows how desperate, they are in a lot of ways. They'll turn anything into a win for themselves. They really will. Jump through hoops to make it happen. This is really funny. This guy or person, Macario, is giving people a daily dose of Wilcock. And they're so fun. I want to play this, but I have a feeling it'll get tagged for a copyright. So I'm not going to play it, but go check it out. It's pretty funny. This was interesting. And we got a really cool sort of answer to this. So let me go ahead and pull up the bigger video here so you guys get a better look of it. So this is a video, a series of 3 videos that was taken in Australia of a supposed UFO. Now, there's a couple of things that I really want to commend the person who took the video for. And the first thing I'll do, let me actually point that out. So when this person filmed it, they filmed 3 videos. 2 of them are around 10 seconds long, and the other one is about 40 seconds long. And then they went immediately to the Google flight search and looked in the area for any planes or anything like that. So you get a timestamp. He immediately posted it. He's asking for information if anyone else saw this object. I think he could have gone the next step and looked for satellites or anything like that in the atmosphere. Believe it or not, sometimes those things are visible in the daytime. So again, this is the right thing to do, because if you get 3 or 4 people that film it and 3 or 4 people that are also looking for information like this at the exact same time, that's a really good corroborating case. Now, in this case, nothing came up. No, so far, no one else has reported seeing this object. Now, let's take a look at the object, and then we'll comment on it. Okay. So To me, it looks very metallic, almost elongated. And now it's kind of
Fuck is that?
bobbling.
It's not a balloon.
Guy says it's not a balloon. I think it does kind of look like a balloon. I think it could also be a drone, and you could be tracking flights in the area, but they don't track drones. And again, the way this thing's moving is either very peculiar to you, or it looks kind of natural to me. Looks very much like a bobbing balloon in the sky. I've seen a balloon do that so many times in the sky. Bob exactly like that. But there was actually a response from Mick West to this. And this is what it was. The camera moving, to explain the bobbing and the weird movement from the object, Mick West writes, "That's the camera moving. Parallax and digital stabilization. It's a fun effect you can easily duplicate." And then he puts in a link to this right here. And it's amazing. Nope.
Movement. This is far quicker than the brightly lit fuselage. Secondly, the odd movement. This is camera movement. If there's trees nearby and you are filming a plane, then it will eventually go behind a tree. To keep it in shot, you move the camera. This makes the plane move relative to the tree. This effect can be compounded by digital zoom, which applies image stabilization to the video, keeping the tree from moving around in some portions of the shot, and enhancing the illusion that the plane is rapidly moving around. Since this plane here has a contrail, we know it's not rapidly moving around, and the tree certainly isn't, so all this motion comes from the camera. Of course, not having the contrail just makes the illusion even more apparent. Here's a small plane at 10,000.
So it's perfect. That's a perfect explanation to that video. It really is. And that's why, one video isn't going to work. We're going to need 10 people filming that exact same thing from 10 different angles. And then that way it takes explanations like this out. Because if we go back and watch the video, that's exactly what happens to it. Not only is it messing with trees, but a pole as well. It's going behind a pole and another set of trees. So yeah, the optical zoom, the unstable camera, it could make it look like it's doing all sorts of shit. So, that's probably why nobody else has corroborated this sighting. You see, there's no comments, no likes. Nobody else saw it. I have a feeling it was just a normal balloon. This was really cool. I wanted to share this. This is the B-21 Raider, a new plane, a new toy from the Air Force. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. If this was 100 yards farther away from the camera, UFO. UFO. But here's what I found very interesting about it. Were these little appendages that stuck out. And in a higher quality photo, these are actually, they have like little nubs at the end of it. And it kind of reminded me of the appendages that came out of the Tic Tac. I mean, obviously they don't do that crazy turn, but then I see this antenna or whatever this is. This a refueling rod? I'm not 100% sure what that is right here, but it seems to be a fixed fixture onto this vehicle. By the way, this is a drone. And the United States government, I believe, spent upwards north of $500 billion to create a fleet of 100 of these, some of them manned, most of them drones. This thing, at the right angle, a certain distance away, no flight surfaces, unless you saw a couple of appendages sticking out of it, right? You wouldn't see, I don't see an American flag on this anywhere. I do see the Air Force sign on there, or the AF on the side of it, 0001 looks like. And also keep in mind, like, the military just announced this thing, just posted the first official photo of it. They've been messing with this for at least 15, 20 years. If it's public, it's 20-year-old tech. So, you see this, let's see. You see something similar to this 20 years ago, 2004. No cockpit, no apparent flight surfaces or rivets, some strange appendages coming out of it, no means of propulsion, no American flag on there. Yeah, if this thing's flying in a training area and the people flying in the training area have no idea it's supposed to be there, you think maybe a couple of them would report a UFO? I think they would. That's something to think about. Just something to think about. Okay. Let's see what you guys are saying here. I'm going to go ahead and take a seat. I'm going to go ahead and take a seat. I'm going to take a seat now. Doing the show standing up. Come on now. Oh, there we go. All right. There we go. So, let's... Oh, yeah, this is one thing. Triton on our Discord, our free Discord. Check the link for the Discord down below in our link tree. This is a response. Stephen Greenstreet writes in caps, imminent, which is the title of Lou Elizondo's book. And he writes, adjective, coming or likely to happen very soon. And so these are the quotes from Lou Elizondo since 2017. I think I've read this once before, but it's always fun to go back and point these out. So in December of 2017, when all this broke loose in the New York Times, he writes, quote, or he says, quote, we may not be alone. In August of 2018, he says, quote, I think disclosure already occurred. So I don't know. We missed it somewhere, maybe in between 17 and 18 there. In December of 2018, he says, quote, disclosure already occurred. Okay, so we definitely missed it between December 2017 and August 2018. Disclosures already occurred. Already here. In 2019 of April, he says, quote, a lot of people ask me, so do you think disclosure has occurred? And I think it has occurred. December of 2020, quote, 2021 is shaping up to be a banner year. May 2021, quote, pay attention for the next 30 days. I think this conversation is about to get real interesting. Spoiler alert, it did not. January 2022, quote, I think 2022 is going to be an even better year. We've got so many things planned. January 2022, quote, the best is yet to come. We may be reaching a critical mass, end quote. Ay. December 22. If you think these are exciting times, just wait for 2023. You ain't seen nothing yet. Fuck, dude. The people who follow this guy, the people who harass people for this guy, the people who raise money in the name for this guy, be careful. Be careful. November 2023, quote, Oh, excuse me. October. I missed October here of 23. Quote, keep the faith. Much more is coming. Much, much more is coming. It's coming and soon. Oh my God. Okay, Daddy. Please come soon, because we've all been waiting since 2017. It's been fucking 6 years since you gave that quote. November 23, quote, yet another step forward in the disclosure process. And then January 2024, there is no going back. This is going to be an interesting year. Looks like we've got a book. We've got a book coming, so I'm sure we're going to get a lot more quotes in this book. Thank you, Triton, for sharing that. That was fun. Guys, if you haven't joined our Discord, go do it. We're having a blast in there. Some good conversations always happening, so go check it out. Okay. So let's get, because I can't show you guys anything yet, but I've been wanting to share this with you guys for a little while. And again, there are parts of this that I'm waiting to confirm. And I think for those out there who are smart enough and remember things, I think you're going to know exactly who I'm talking about, because I'm going to give you the charities that we've been reaching out to. So this person within the UFO community has been doing charities, raising money and giving prizes in exchange for raffle tickets. Now, the first time this person did this, it raised almost $25,000. And it was done on an app to help raise the funds called Rally Up. The organizations that money was being raised for was the International Humane Society, or Humane Society International, Cash for Kids, and St. Jude. And then Rally Up is the platform in which the money was raised. Now, I got a message from a person, we'll just say their name is Maple, because that's the alias they used when they reached out to Cash for Kids. And I also reached out to Cash for Kids. And the response, because I got this response, I had to go and double check it myself and get the same response from the same people, basically. They wrote to Maple when they inquired about the money and the charity, which was done through this app in the name of these organizations. And so one of the organizations, one of the charities, was Cash for Kids. They write back to Maple in a few email exchanges. Thanks so much for contacting Cash for Kids with your concerns. We have looked into this, and it is an unauthorized donation collection. We are now actioning this with the legal and fraud teams and contacting the local police. Thanks again. Kind regards, Charlie from Cash for Kids. When I saw this and I saw who it was linked to, I couldn't believe it. So I also emailed and contacted independently Cash for Kids and sent them the links in question and the charity in question. And then after a couple of exchanges, they wrote to me, "Dear Mr. Jimenez, thank you for getting in touch. I can confirm that fundraiser hosted on the website," and I won't give the website yet, is not authorized by Cash for Kids. We have reported this activity to the Action Fraud Team in the UK. Now, the Action Fraud Team is an actual government entity that specific job is to find and go after people committing fraud. And then they also go right on to write, Maple's not a member of the Cash for Kids team. Now, I included a Maple in this conversation on accident, but what it did in this response is confirm, yeah, that person Maple is not part of our team. They just emailed us also randomly, essentially. So we've got 2 confirmations that are confirmed by the organization. So that's the first confirmation. And again, once I get all 4, I will update you guys on all 4. The second that I contacted was St. Jude. Now, St. Jude was supposed to get back to me this week. They have definitely piqued their interest with this situation. And because of the holiday, everybody left the office early this week. So unfortunately, I've not heard back from St. Jude yet. I'm also, same exact situation happened with the Humane Society International. They're looking into it, and they're also getting back to me either Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, because I followed up with them again this week. Now, the other part of this is the platform in which this money was raised. Now, the first time it raised $25,000 in the name of these charities. The next year, it decided to disassociate itself with the person who was raising the money. Now, when I reached out to Rally Up, there was a few exchanges here. The last 2 in particular to me are the most interesting. Because of the Rally Up protocols or what's the word I'm looking for here? Company policy. That's the word I'm looking for. So because of Rally Up's company policy, they will not tell you the name, the people who donated, the people who held the charity or had the account. They will not confirm any aspect of it. So I wrote them saying, okay, listen, I understand that you guys can't confirm the person who did this, but I need to understand because you guys split ways with them. And when you did, this person said that they were unworthy of your platform. So my question is, what would cause your company, your platform, to consider somebody unworthy of using it? To which we got the response of, hello, we carefully vet our customers at Rally Up to ensure that they are valid charities and registered nonprofits in their country of origin. Each organization must go through a registration process on our side before being able to fundraise. We also conduct due diligence checks to ensure that these organizations continue to comply over time. Instead of considering an organization unworthy, we focus on confirming whether they are legitimate charitable organizations that can provide supporting information. To which I replied, thank you so much for your help. The term unworthy came from the organization that was using Rally Up to raise the money. According to them, Rally Up cut ties with the fundraiser on a certain date. I can only assume, based off of what you told me, this fundraiser didn't meet the Rally Up standards, and therefore Rally Up parted ways with the fundraiser. Last question, is Rally Up based in the US or the UK? And again, thank you for all the clarity you could provide. I do hope these funds have reached their destination. To which they wrote, morning, Luis. We are based in the US and support organizations worldwide. Take care. So to me, that tells me that yes, this charity did not meet or reach the standards of the platform that was helping them raise the money to make sure it gets distributed to the right places. So once we get confirmation from the Humane Society International and from St. Jude's, I will show all of this information, and I'll tell you exactly who it was who organized all of these charity events and who they did it for. It's going to open up a lot of questions, and it's going to really put some people in this community who've been held up to such high sort of regards and, like, you know, the best of this community has to offer. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff. And so, you know, again, once we get confirmation on this stuff, then we'll make sure to tell you guys about it and exactly who was doing this. Because I think there are repercussions coming for this person, according to at least one of the organizers, one of the charities that was supposed to get money from this event. That doesn't look like they got it. So yeah, it's going to raise a lot of questions. Got some questions here in the chat. Aaron DeSario says they weren't a registered charity. He was just doing it on a lark. Again, find out whether they received the donation. That's what we're waiting on now. We're waiting to get confirmation either way. 5x5, did they claim to be a 503c? When you say they, I mean the people who, I'm assuming you mean the people who raise the funds. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. They are definitely a for-profit company. Yeah, Aaron DeSario, be very careful, Lou. You may be wrong, and they may have receipts. I might be wrong. You're absolutely right. That's why I'm not showing anything. That's why I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just sharing what I found and what I'm working on. And I don't think I'm wrong, but I'm going to wait until we get 100% confirmation on this from as many of the people involved as we can. And I think people should know about this, especially people in the UFO community, and especially the people who might not know what's going on in their name. So just keep an eye on it. We'll keep an eye, and if it's wrong, we'll say we got it wrong. I've got no issues retracting it. But this is why I'm not rushing to put it out there. But there are aspects of this that I wanted to talk about because these are the aspects that I've confirmed so far. So we shall see. UAP Mike, KMF, Kimball, Heather, Keemstar, any of the usual clowns? No. Definitely not any of the usual clowns. That's all I can say. It's not, I don't think it is what you guys think it's going to be. But yeah, if you just think about it, you might be able to find what I'm talking about. But yeah, I was shocked. Aaron says it was that UFO podcast in DZ. I donated to it. Interesting. And can you tell me, Aaron, do you know if those funds got to where they were supposed to go to? Interesting. I didn't know that part of it. But if it is the case they're committing a fraud report them to the FBI IC3. I can't report anything. I need to get confirmation from the charities first. But yeah, it doesn't look good. Yeah, you don't know if they got them. Yeah, I don't know either. But it doesn't, again, from the Cash for Kids, they've said we forwarded this on to the fraud department and to the local law enforcement. So that's one. If the other two come back with similar, I know Rally Up is not going to say anything past what they've said, but if the other charities can also say something similar or even more, give us more information than what Cash for Kids has, yeah, then I'll go full report with it. But yeah, I think you're right on that, but I don't know, because I didn't know Ryan was involved whatsoever on that aspect of it. You got some cool stickers out of it. I'm glad you did. I'm sure the stickers were definitely provided, but the question becomes, was the money provided to where it should have gone? And yeah. Do you know if anybody's asked him, Aaron, and has he given an answer? Because I have seen some back and forth online with people who were saying stuff, but it doesn't seem like there have been any answers provided to some of those accusations online. Let's see here. What is this you sent me, Simon Fly? Those appendages also on the YouTube. Oh, look at that. Yeah, this is cool. This is cool. Simon Fly sent me this picture of the US or the U2S Dragon Lady, and those appendages that were on the Tic Tac are also on this plane. So, yeah. This is the first follow-up on that effort I have heard about. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad we're following up on it, but yeah, I don't think the answers that are going to come are going to be great, Aaron. I was genuinely shocked by the first response we got from it, and it made me go, whoa. Those are pitot-tudes? What are pitot-tudes? Sensors for airspeed and temperature and such. Okay. Wise Monkey, if you only had the investigative reporter Ross Coulthard on board for this inquiry, Lou, the case would be cracked and spread worldwide by now. Yeah, it's true. It is true. Holy cow. Simon Fly is a dude. 5x5 says also K-band antennas are a similar shape. Interesting. Good night, Gracie DeVars. Thank you for being here. Archangel Reese. Oh yeah, this is great. Let's see here. What else are you guys? Idea for charity: aliens, gray lives matter. The suspense is killing me. I know. We're just trying to be responsible with it as we can. I know for a fact Billy stole money from kids. Do you mean Billy Carson? I'd like to see TTSA get investigated for fraud. Billy Carson is my vote. Nope, it's not Billy Carson. Maple is probably a Canadian. Probably. I've only called in once. The other times it was Dr. Jaime Massons, whoever that is. Definitely not me. Can of worms is about to be opened. I agree. Anything we can do here in the UK to support Lou with this complaint, etc.? No, not yet. I mean, like I said, once I get confirmations from the other two charities on whether or not this has been escalated to different parts, then yeah, I'll just tell you guys, and then they'll just have to answer the questions. Let's see how many questions they answer. Let's see if they can provide any evidence to the contrary. You know, but hey, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Not authorized, but did they get the donation anyway? It doesn't sound like they did. Does not sound like they did. They if they got the donation, why would they forward it to the local police and fraud? You know, so that's the thing. So yeah, I don't know. It's definitely weird. Aaron, are you redacting your own messages? Apple juice and a beer is what I'm drinking right now. Lou, when you have enough supporting evidence, let me know and I can walk you through the IC3 process. Will do. Will do. Yeah, well, I don't know, because if the fraud wasn't committed in the United States, I don't know how much power the FBI would have. It's not like millions and millions of dollars. It's less than, 50,000, I think. It's still a lot of money, but I just don't know if the FBI would be able to do anything because this person's not in the US. So I don't know. We'll see. Yep, I was wrong. Okay, cool. MacArthur Lussan, Big Lou is a criminal for lying on Lou Elizondo. You keep saying that, but I still have yet to get summoned to court to be sued for what I've said. Again, probably because they would have to provide evidence, and I'd get to subpoena who Richard Budd is, and I'd get to subpoena Rob Heatherly to court to ask them how they got my private messages and why they blackmailed me on behalf of Lou Elizondo. I look forward to that. I really do. I really do. Yeah, definitely look forward to that. I'm old. It's Friday after a long, hard week, tired and a little stoned. Don't worry about it, Desario. It's all good, buddy. It's all good. It's all good, dude. Let's see something here. This over here. Anyway, but you know what, guys? I think that's the show. I think we're going to end it early this week. I mean, we did do 3 shows this week, so it's not like I'm cutting short here. Unless you guys have any questions. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat. I'll be here answering questions if you guys want. You could throw them in all caps or just make sure there's a question mark at the end. MacArthur was Thomas Fessler. Is that true? Is that true? MacArthur Lusant is Thomas Fessler? Holy shit, that would make sense. That would definitely make sense. Well, this feels a bit like listening to people exchange inside jokes and I'm lost, so I'm a mosey on. Y'all have a great night. Sci-fi painter. All right, buddy. Have a good night. Thanks for being here. I would love for the Faceless Bureaucrat or Richard Budd to sue. The discovery process would be hilarious, as Lou and I were victims for sure. Yeah, I would love for an attorney to go through the messages between Dick Butt and Lou Elizondo. Well, I would love that. I would love it. It'd be hilarious. I'd love to see them explain that to a judge or some sort of mediator. I would love to see that. Do I listen to Scarface? No, I don't. Czarface? No. There needs to be a fake Lou Elizondo's neck. Do you feel the grift is getting more desperate with its claims? Do I feel the grift is getting more desperate with its claims? I don't know if they're getting more desperate, but it seems like they're jumping through more hoops to explain their positions. Just like very similarly like they did with everything that comes across as news. They'll always flip it and jump through a hoop to explain how it benefits disclosure, even though it doesn't whatsoever. Thanks for the question. James Craig asked for $10 super chat. Thanks, man. Thanks for the shows this weekly. Dude, you're welcome. Thank you for being so generous. That's very kind of you. Seriously. You're a sweetheart. Remember that Kentucky lawyer? I scared the hell out of him and he dropped Elizondo. Is that right? Interesting. The Kentucky lawyer, the same guy that repped Rittenhouse? Is that the Kentucky lawyer you're speaking? Was that guy from Kentucky? I'm not sure. But was it the same lawyer that was threatening John Greenwald with litigation before the show even ended? Was it that same attorney? 75 YBA, sorry, was doing guitar and cat stuff. Don't worry about it. Welcome. Czarface is good 90s inspired hip hop. Okay, I'll check it out. Let's see. All right, Lou, have a good week. Everyone spend time with their loved ones. Definitely. Great. That's a great one. So go spend time with some of your loved ones. Lou, did you make peace with Kimball? No. No. Kimball tried to gaslight me in his space the other night. Because I simply didn't remember that what's his name? TJ, is it? No, it's not. No, you're TJ. What's the other guy's name? I don't know. One of his buddies who recreated his voice. I'm forgetting his name right now. Logan. I forgot that Logan was part of his angst and his anger, and so therefore he accused me of lying to cover up that I was giving Logan preferential treatment because he had stuck up for me after someone dehumanized me in one of his fucking spaces and talked about me like a pest, like I was a Jew in Nazi Germany or something. So I forgot to mention that guy when I was talking about Kimball's pain. And yeah, so that's why Kimball's upset with me. He wanted me to admit to a lie that wasn't a lie. So no, I honestly, speaking with folks like that now, it just seems like an exercise in slamming your head against the wall. It's really frustrating. So yeah, sorry. Lou, who's going to be the next chief of Aero? I think they already appointed one. I forget his name though, but he's got some pretty damn good qualifications. I'm sure we'll learn his name here in the next few months before the end of the year. His name's already public. I'm just forgetting it right now. But when there's another congressional hearing with Aero, he will be the one who's sitting in the hot seat. So we'll get that soon. And yeah, hopefully they're just as scientific minded. Apparently, it's someone that, you know, the Mellon and Elizondo camp like. So we'll see, because they like him today, but they'll hate him tomorrow, sort of thing. Just like their own legislation that they helped write. Like they loved it when it went through, but hate it after it's put into place. All right, let's see here. Yes, I worded it badly. I mean, being more brazen and using even less credible ways of conveying their message. Yeah, I think they are, you know, because I think honestly, part of the DOD strategy and the strategy for the Aero office is to kill the stigma, because whether you believe this or not, the more stigma that exists, the better it is for UFO grifters. The better it is, because then they can point to the stigma and say, see, why would that stigma be there if there wasn't a mystery to it? Yeah. I sent him all the faceless bureaucrat messages. Yes, the same lawyer as Greenwald. Wow, good, man. That's awesome. I didn't know that he'd been dropped by that attorney. Lou, brother, any thoughts on Alan Hillman? Who is Alan Hillman? No, I don't have any thoughts on Alan Hillman. Let me look up who that is. Alan Hillman. I don't think you're talking about the professional soccer player. No, man, I'm sorry. I don't know who that is. Awesome. I'm glad you saw the whole show. Thank you for being here. You're very welcome, Jun Giant Laura. Thank you for being a member. Good night, Pat Calabria. Have a great night, my friend. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you, my dude. Let's see here. What is that? Is it a YouTube show? Okay, here's a question, Wise Monkey. Do you think that if WWE wrestler Logan Paul releases his video, James Fox will cry and disclosure will be done? Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's right. I forgot that he has the video. Logan Paul has the video. I don't know. James Fox will cry at the drop of a dime. So my answer, yes, he will definitely cry. But yeah, I wonder why Logan Paul hasn't released that video. It's probably garbage. He probably doesn't want to be embarrassed by it and just hopes everybody forgets about it, which we collectively pretty much have. Anyone know where the giant UFO is? Just look for the building so big and in the middle of nowhere. It should be a building in the middle of nowhere. Right? Like, just like, why is that building there? Because it didn't crash. It was so big. If it crashed near a real town, any size town, man, that information would have gotten out like wildfire. There'd be rumors about it. Villagers would be talking about it, you know? So my best guess is wherever it is, it's got to be in the middle of nowhere. So I'm guessing Antarctica. That's my guess. If I had to take a guess, the ship's so big it can't be moved. That's where my money's at. Love that question though. Tim Phillips. Is that who you meant? Who's Tim Phillips? No, I don't know Tim Phillips. Oh, well, no, this is not. I thought you guys were maybe talking about Riz Verk there for a second. He's a co-founder of Epic Games. No, what did Tim Phillips say? Interesting. All right. Football, thank you very much, Lou. You're welcome, bud. Thanks for being here. Morgan Spurlock died. Oh, man. Is that the guy who did Supersize Me? Did he die? Interesting. Complizzier says, Lou, have an ice cold Heineken with your girl after the show. Oh, man, I'd love to do that, but she's in Vegas for the week. She's working. But I'll have one for myself. How about that? I'll take a Heineken. You know, my uncle, I remember when I was growing up, my uncle was a distributor for Heineken. And so every party we ever had, Christmas party, it was sponsored by Heineken. And so I think my very first beer was a Heineken, and I hated it, obviously. I snuck a taste in, or some adult gave me a taste. I don't know. I was much too young to probably be tasting beer. But it was the 80s, you know? Parenting was different back then. But I haven't... As an adult, I do love the taste of a Heineken now. And I do even like the Heineken Light even more. I think that's a really tasty light beer. I don't know. I like lagers, so Heineken's right up my alley. So I'll definitely have one of those. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the donation. We had a Victoria Day last weekend. Oh, is that like Memorial Day? Same sort of thing. FYI, my name is pronounced Yoon Ji-in, Laura. I interview Eugean psychologists or psychoanalyst based on the theories of Swiss psychiatrist Carl C.G. Jung, pronounced Jung, sorry. Jungian Laura. Thanks. Thank you. And thanks for being a member, Jungian Laura. I appreciate it. Thanks for the correction there. I'll be honest with you, I'll still screw this up. But thank you for telling me. To be fair to him and superb performer, the next Shawn Michaels. Oh, he's good. I'm joking. Let's see here. 80s baby. Yep, definitely an 80s baby. Yoshi says, forget the beer, just give me hard liquor. Oof, man. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't drink at all. Yeah, it's very, very rare. Well, I still drink, but it's really rare. Just not my bag, man. I have more than 2 or 3 beers and I am so hungover the next day. It's not good. It's just not good. Do aliens get drunk? That might explain all the crashes. That could explain all the crashes. If they're drinking and interstellaring. Yeah, never drink an interstellar. Moms against drinking and interstellaring. Yeah, don't do that. You guys, this has been a pretty wild week. It's been an interesting week. It's been a very busy week. I've had 4 auditions this week, that's a busy week. 4 auditions. That's just, it's not normal. That's not normal. 4 auditions in a week. I mean, it happens, but it's just not normal. Obviously it happens. It happened. Bunch of meetings this week, bunch of good stuff, bunch of other stuff, like this whole charity thing, which is just super weird. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens this week coming up. I can't wait to have our spaces discussion, because that's going to be really, really fun. Yeah, that'll be Thursday, you guys. I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about on Monday. Things are slowed down. It's that time of year, right, where things just slow down and mellow out. So I don't know. I'm trying to get. We're definitely going to be having Chris Bartell be coming through and talking with us on the show. That'll be in the next 2 weeks, I think. He's really busy and just doing, traveling around a lot lately. So we'll be talking to him. There was somebody else here that I think we also nailed down as a guest. I know for sure Craft Beard is going to be coming on the Lou Reviews show soon as well. We've been having killer conversations with him, and I'm also working on a couple other conversations behind the scenes. So, we'll have some interviews coming up and stuff like that. But if news stays super, super, super slow, maybe we go down to 1 day a week until things pick up again, but I don't think it will. There's always usually something to talk about. But yeah, we've got some fun discussions coming up, and let's see what happens with, I know we're getting more UAP hearings and they're going to be focused on USOs. So we'll see what happens with that. And there's a conversation with Tim Gallaudet coming up, which is hilarious that Tim Gallaudet is now a whistleblower in a lot of people's eyes, even though he hasn't seen anything. He is a funny guy, man. Funny guy. Very similar to Carl Nell, in that they haven't seen anything, but they are using their very impressive resumes to push this UFO narrative. And it's confusing as to why. It doesn't make any sense. And they hang around and quote the same people that have been quoted and hung around for the last 2 decades. So 3 decades in some cases. Anyway, yeah, I think that's it, you guys. it's been a cool journey and fun show, you guys. I want to thank everybody out there. Brad Berry, my moderator, Sparky Pilot, Aaron Desario, ABG, I think I said Wise Monkey, but if I didn't, thank you for the donation. TJ Felony, James Craig, Yoshi, Complizzier, thank you for the dono, appreciate it. Fifi Barbora, where is the name I'm looking for that I'm gonna mess up? 5x5 News, thank you so much, and thanks for the info. I didn't know that that his attorney left him. That's funny. Yuji and Laura, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Yuji and Laura. Archangel Reese, thank you for being here. 75 YBA. You guys, you make the show so much fun and worth doing. So thanks for being here. If you haven't already, like, share the shit out of this show. That's a really great way to get people to find us. Like the show, because that helps with the algorithm. Ring the bell, that way you're notified anytime we go live. Follow me on Twitter at Lou Angeles, and check out the link tree below where you can support us with the almighty dollar for as little as $1 a month on Patreon, or you can become a member here on YouTube for $6 a month. So I think I'm sure I'll have some edited stuff coming here in the next month or so. You know, haven't been doing as many spaces. I really have taken a break from spaces. I'm actually proud of myself. My girlfriend's been out of town for a few days now, and I've barely touched these spaces. I even canceled my own and then didn't go. It went into one space and then got a phone call and had to go do other shit. So yeah, just trying to keep away from it. I'll be back though. I'm still listening here and there when I can, but not as much as I was before. But yeah, some interesting things that are still going on in there, and we'll be covering it. We'll be talking about it when it's relevant. And I think that's it, you guys. Thank you so damn much for coming to hang out here. Thank you for being part of the show. Thank you for helping us raise the bar here in the UFO community. With every new subscriber, with every new Patreon member, with every new fan, like, share, you know, we grow, and this becomes a place for people to get out of the rabbit hole. So that's all thanks to you guys. So I appreciate it. I like being the voice in this community that's bringing some rationality instead of fantasy. So with that said, you guys have a killer weekend. I love you all.